All right, so today I wanted to talk about simplifying your life, minimalist type thing, but I'm going to use it more for diet than anything because it's a diet, well, not a diet channel, a lifestyle channel, right? Like a plant-based vegan type lifestyle. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. This is High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. And I wanted to talk about one of the things that I've been noticing, especially on like Instagram or well, mostly Instagram. I don't really go on a lot of the other social media. But I've been noticing one commonality lately. And, you know, we come into the diet season, like the lose the weight season, the whatever you want to call it season, right? You know, change things season, get, you know, a new change on life, a new lease on life. And one of the things that I notice most about the photography on Instagram is it overcomplicates the whole thing. And I think it scares a lot of people away. They come off of eating Doritos and potato chips and donuts and whatever kind of crazy thing, or the standard American diet. And then, you know, they got all this prepackaged stuff. And all of a sudden, they're like, well, I want to make my life healthier. I want to get on the bandwagon, you know, or whatever. And they see all of this stuff. And then they're like, man, that looks really complicated. There's like 85 ingredients in there, or it's staged really crazy. And I understand this gets the views, but does it have the effect? I mean, you can like a lot of stuff on Instagram and you just scroll endless. It doesn't mean that it's changing anything with you. It's a pretty picture. And I think that is kind of daunting, especially when you see the vegan cookbooks, especially like the raw vegan, even crazy. I mean, the amount of stuff that goes into these things, like who's got this kind of time? The only people who have time to make recipes like that are the people who are making a living doing it. All right. So keep this in mind when you come into the plant-based lifestyle, that simple is much better than overcomplicated, especially if you're not somebody that's going to be posting and making a living off it, especially if you're not going to be making recipe books and making a living off. And think about all the stuff that people make a living off of. And if you're not going to be doing that, just simplify it. Just simplify it. Get a rice cooker. Get, you know, that's really where I would start, in an Instant Pot. Don't cook rice in an Instant Pot. It doesn't come out good. I don't care what anybody says. It's a waste of rice. But just simplify this stuff. It's so much easier in your head when you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, I got rice on the cooker, so when I get home from doing whatever work or whatever it is, I can just saute up some vegetables, throw it on top of the rice and be done. This is why I don't post a lot of recipe stuff, even though my stuff is pretty simple, so I probably should. But it boggles my mind. Like when I look at it, I start getting like, oh my God, I mean, how long did that take to make? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So just think about it. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when my cat passed away and she was in the box. And I had to leave her there because it was nighttime. I couldn't take her to where I was going to have her cremated. And I opened the box the next day to look at her. I petted her. I said, you know, hopefully you had a good journey. And I hope that you see yourself well on the way out. And I petted her. And as I'm doing this, I realized this cool little creature, this beautiful little being, came in here with nothing. And is leaving the exact same way. But everything was so simple. It was so simple. She got up, she ate, the food was just there, right? And she went to the bathroom and she slept. And she played around, you know, when she was younger with toys and stuff like that, or played around with whatever. But it was so simple. It was so simple, and she had just a great life because of it. It's the people who you know, and the more stuff that you've got, the more you got to defend it, right? You got these security systems, you got you know, warehouses with your stuff in it because you got too much to even fit in the house. This monstrosity of a house that you got. Just think about, you know, all of this stuff when you're doing this diet, that it really can be just you making rice. I mean, or just like go to a Chinese place and get, you know, the vegan version or whatever. See what stuff you like and just make it as simple stuff. It's simple stuff. This is why there's so much people who buy Chinese. I know there's some really complicated dishes in Chinese food, but for the most part, it's just like some cut up vegetable on our end. If you're not eating the flesh and everything like that, but if it's just some cut up vegetables in a sauce and you put it on rice and you eat it. Imagine that. Imagine that. And you don't have to have some magazine cover ad type thing for dinner. I know when I interviewed Sandy, she said that she doesn't even make, she's got an Instagram channel for more of what she makes, but she really doesn't even post on there, she told me, anymore, because she doesn't feel like taking the time to do it. And she looks really good. So you don't have to overcomplicate this stuff to look good. You have to just get the diet in check, get it simplified. Now, all right, granted, now some people do like to go overboard, or some people might be the stay-home person and they got somebody else going to make the money and they really want to make this fancy dinner. Fine. If it's therapeutic for you, if it helps you, if you can't wait to make this stuff, if the other person appreciates it, or if you appreciate it enough to not care that the other person doesn't appreciate it, then go for it. Go for it. I mean, yeah, but like if neither one of you, or if there's however many people are in the relationship, if you got kids or whatever, if nobody really cares about this stuff, that they just want to eat and go do whatever the hell it is that they really want to be doing, just make whatever it is to keep you where you need to be. Because otherwise, if you don't, you're going to go back to the bagged potato chips and dip and just sit there and watch TV with your Mountain Dew. This is what's going to happen. I guarantee it. You see it all the time. There was a people making entire livings off of anti-vegan, I quit vegan, whatever things on YouTube. So it's a thing, right? And it's not hard to blame it because of all diets. We overcomplicate everything. And this is one of the reasons that I never even wanted to start this YouTube channel. I was told 10 years ago to start a YouTube channel because I have, a way of putting words out there or whatever. But I'm like, I don't want to be mixed up with these people. These people crazy. They're all woo-woo, like breatharians, like doing whatever, like showing their turds on screen and everything like that with the raw vegans. And I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. I just want to be back here eating my rice out of my rice cooker and just on with my day. But I couldn't take it anymore. Other than Durianrider and a couple others, even or like McDougall, those two. McDougall tells you to pick 5 or 6 things out of his cookbook and just make that and just be happy with it, and just so you don't have to overthink this whole thing. Because otherwise, by March, you're going to be gone, right? You're going to be gone again. And next January, you're going to try it again because I know it's going to work this time. But if you don't simplify it, I don't think it is. There's too many people like me and other people. The Sandy that I'm talking about is not my Sandy. By the way, I'll actually put that interview up here in the card somewhere because it was a really good interview. But when you simplify it, it's just so much easier. Especially if you can find recipes that you can just throw in your Instapot, put on a timer, and then when you get home, because I do a lot of raw, just smoothies, just throw stuff in a blender and drink it down. Now, I don't chug this stuff, so it lasts a while for me. It lasts basically a work day. Even a juice. I made a juice today. I've had this juice now. I don't know what time it is, like almost noon. I've had this juice for like 2 hours. So I would really recommend starting the day off with juice or fruit or something like that. Really clear things out because, the fruit is a cleanser and the greens and everything is a builder. But so is, in my mind, starch as a builder. So if you spend a majority of your day just cleaning out, and then you come home and you have the starch or the greens or whatever, and you build back up, and then you can go to bed and you just start the cleansing process again. That's me. That is my part of my woo-woo, right? Like whatever. But, you don't have to do that. Like, I know I get real pegged with calling Asians, even though they're in Asia. Like if you look at the Chinese or if you look at the Japanese word for meal is gohan, and that means rice. And I forget what the word is in Chinese, but it means, have you had your rice today? Like, so it's a real thing, right? You start off with rice. So you don't have to start off with raw anything. I don't even want to overcomplicate it there. You can literally just start it off with rice if you want to. But in my mind, if you've got the accessibility to fruit, I would start it off with fruit. Leave it there. And yeah. I can't think of what else to say to this, but it dawned on me. I was at church. I go on Saturday. I know, crazy. I just really go there for the peace. But I started thinking of the Tuesday after she had or the next day after she passed, and just looking at her sitting there, and I'm like, I realized at that moment, and it's weird to me because I've been to a lot of funerals, like probably 100 some. I realized looking at this little creature that spent 14 years with me, that she just came in here with nothing and she left the exact same way. And she didn't do anything other than be cute to get what she wanted. So you've got to oversimplify this stuff like that. You just obviously we can't all use the cute, and we're not all cats. But if you use that model, if you think about that, because, we try, it baffles my mind when I'm outdoor dashing, and a lot of the buildings going up now are storage buildings. It's like people got these monstrosity houses, like 10, 12,000 square foot houses, majority of people I deliver to, because there's a decent amount of money here. And they still got like their garages taken up with stuff. They got storage units and stuff like, I'm like, man, I couldn't do it. Like 2 Sundays ago, I threw out everything in this house practically. I just can't do. It's going to get to the point where I'm going to be in like just a room with like a computer and stuff. I can't not stand this stuff. I know that goes along with certain ways that they want us living, but in my mind, the less clutter have, the more simple you live, the more at peace your mind can be. And I think the more of this stuff we call progress, which, started in 1820, look that up. The stuff that we label progress is usually us getting farther and farther away from who we are. So I think if you use your diet, because you are what you eat, I think if you use your diet and simplify it and just have what you need, I think your body can start getting back to that place too. I think that's a good ending. So I don't plan these things. It comes out. I just stand here. Yeah. Anyway, comments, questions, likes, subscribes. Check out my Patreon. I'm gonna start really working on that, and I'll talk to you next time.